I would want you to, speak to us and give us a better understanding of what is really going on in your party. As of today, we are aware that there is a court judgment, and though the leadership crisis in PDP seemed to have lingered more than Nigerians expected, and again, there's been court judgment again. So, briefly, give us what really happened. What was the outcome of the Supreme Court judgment today, and regarding the statement of Debo concerning the Supreme Court judgment that was made today?
You see, it is quite unfortunate that at this time of the life of PDP, we have the worst national publicity secretary in our history, in the person of Debo Olunagba. I'm saying that because I was present at the court today. Okay. In fact, I was sitting horizontally facing their lordship, in front of their lordships. And their lordship's judgment did not in any way pronounce Idokoye as a national secretary. In fact, their lordships in their statement describe him as an interloper, meddlesome interloper. Their lordships make clear that the evidence were improperly before the lower court, and they dismiss the majority judgment. At the appeal court division, we had a majority judgment saying that Idokoye is the national secretary, and we have a minority judgment. Their lordship, in fact, they describe it as a perverse judgment, the lower court judgment, and said that the judges would have known that they don't have jurisdiction. Idokoye lawyer was present there. He said that their lordship should what was his word? He said depart from their consistency. Their lordship has constantly maintained that the court does not have jurisdiction over party internal affairs, and that is when it has to do with position of the national. You cannot appoint a national secretary for anybody. Okay. And the court held the appeal of Senator Samuel Anyanwu and pronounced him
the national secretary.
By upholding his appeal, he is automatically the national secretary. Okay. But we have a national publicity secretary who has ceased to work for the interests of the party, but working for the interests of his pocket, and goes out to make statement that has not been approved or consented by the NWC. The NWC, in sensitive matters like this, ought to meet. But he just woke up. He has, number one, he has not read the judgment. Oh. Number two, because the judgment is not at the CTC, the certified true copy is not at. Number two, he wasn't in court. So his statement was a hearsay. And let me tell you, if he claimed in his statement, he claimed that there was a resolution by the NWC. Nobody resigned, nobody died for the office to be vacant. Okay. So how will there will be resolution from the NWC asking the the Southeast Zone to nominate somebody to be appointed? There is no room for that. Once Netanyahu did not resign. Number two, section 47(5) of our constitution did not say, which the Supreme Court affirmed, did not say that you will resign to contest election. It's a discretionary thing. He said may, the word used there was may, or the word used there is may, and they confirmed it. There is discretionary, that you don't need to resign. So Anyanwu did not resign. He took a leave of absence to go and contest for election. We have instances like presently the Deputy National Publicity Secretary went contested and came back. He lost the primaries and came back to continue his job. We have the former National Treasurer. So you will see that there are some elements of destructive elements in PDP that were not at the beginning of PDP foundational members, that by privilege and godfatherism has occupied some certain positions, and they are using that position for their own interest rather than the party's interest. Otherwise, in a situation like this, the Supreme Court has made pronouncement. If you say the Supreme Court affirmed Idokoye, on what ground did you go to court? If you have made resolution and the party has picked Idokoye, why did you go to court? So you see that in recent times, the MPS Debo has been inconsistent and has shown that he doesn't have that capacity to be the MPS of PDP, and maybe a social club, but not PDP. He has failed so woefully, taking sides when it comes to issue of this important Supreme Court judgment, misinterpreting it, creating wrong narrative, which has become contempt of court, because they did not say, their lordship did not say what he stated in his judgment, in his press release. So it's unfortunate when we saw it, we were like, what is wrong? Did he just wake up from sleep? Because he wasn't in court. I was in court. The CTC is not out. So where did he get the judgment? So somebody told him. And that is a big lie. The person the Supreme Court affirmed today is Senator Samuel Inemeka as the National Secretary of PDP until our convention later this year.
All right. Good evening. I'm glad to have you join us on the program.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Sorry, I needed to comment on the River State proclamation.
Okay, please go ahead.
So I want to speak on the area where a lot of people are blaming the governor, that is the one who mastermind all kind of crises in the state. In my own view, I'm seeing that the people who are supposed to speak to the FCT minister are not doing what they need to do. The president is afraid of speaking to him.
Okay.
The party is afraid of speaking to him. So when they now ignore him, they will not make careless statements, and the errand boys go on to ravish the whole city. And nobody is talking. Rather, they will be blaming the government when they know that the constitution of Nigeria is a fair constitution, in that they only have a figure, a chief security of the state, but they never have power to command even a local government vigilante security.
All right.
Police are in charge, and the federal federal government are in charge of everything. So government is just a title that you carry about. You can't do anything. So when the militants were making all kind of trade that go on, there's no offense that will warrant someone to just come down because you got a judgment today. The next day say, I want to impeach you. Instead of saying, let us sit down, build our state, and run together. But their master gave them instruction that even though you impeach him, heaven will not fall. Okay. So they have to demonstrate themselves that heaven can fall. And now they have brought down mistake because the heaven are falling in their state.
Right.
So it's for the minister to have sense and stop talking anyhow.
Okay.
But people are not ready to talk in. Look at the party that he claims he belongs to. He has brought down the party, speaking and calling people all manner of names, and they have not been able to suspend it. But it is ordinary people like that who suspend the person again and again. So this place of fear that the man is using in the Supreme Court, everybody is afraid. Whatever judgment he wants, that's what he got. Okay. The president is afraid to call him one-on-one and say, why not be a minister and leave your state? If they bring him down now from that position as a minister, he won't do all this nonsense because he knows that he does not have power to control police, the armed forces, and the armed boat anymore. But because he knows he has the power, that's why he's doing all these things that he's doing. Instead for me to bring peace. We also have what we call the peace committee.
Please, could you round up your thoughts to enable others join the conversation?
We're supposed to use them.
All right. Thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you very much for your contribution. And please, when you call, ensure you don't exceed 60 seconds to enable others join the conversation. Okay, now, still talking about your party. It does look like even the crisis even before the delivered judgment today, which Nigerians are saying this is it's not looking like it's ending soon. Now another one is up today. What is your party doing to resolve the crisis in its in its home? Because I will call it a home. And how ready are you?
Let me disagree with you that we don't have crisis in the party.
No,
we just have interest wrangling or some disgruntled members refuse to accept the truth. And that's because no, let me tell you something. Somebody, their lordship used a word. They said the improper evaluation of evidence before the court. Somebody forged a document to secure judgment. That's why the Supreme Court judgment justices. I was there. I took note of some of their words. And this one intrigued me. They said, improper evaluation of evidence before the court. That was what has put us in this, that brought this issue to this. Number one, that the court ought not to. They would have recourse themselves because they don't have jurisdiction. It's an internal party affairs. That's number one. They said then number two, improper evaluation of evidence before them. So some people are promoting illegality. You went and forged a Congress guideline to secure a judgment because you are desperate to sit in a particular position. And we have said no, that shouldn't happen. The last press conference address, I said if the Supreme Court Anyanwu go, but if the Supreme Court Anyanwu stay, Anyanwu remain, because as the time before the Supreme Court judgment, Anyanwu remains. And today the Supreme Court has confirmed and affirmed the fact that Anyanwu is the substantive and authentic National Secretary of PDP. But some people that have been paid or sanctified to distract and destroy PDP will not let it be. That's somebody like the National Publicity Secretary. That's why he went out and made that kind of statement. Because right from time, what are they talking about? They were relying on what is it called, Judgement of Enugu and the Appeal Court Division to say Anyanwu has gone. Now they've seen that the judgment did not favor them. They said there was a resolution. There was nothing like that. There was nothing like this. Is a man that cannot even present since he became House of Rep. All his tenure could not pass present a bill, could not move a motion for anything for his people. 2 years in the assembly. He just came into PDP from Zenith Labour Party, so he doesn't know what it takes to to maintain a party like PDP. And that's why people like us are saying no, we don't have crisis in PDP. We might have interest wrangling. If you have crisis, you have two national chairmen or many. We only have one national chairman in the person of His Excellency Ambassador Umailia Damagu. We only have one national secretary in the person of Senator, most distinguished Senator Nnemeka Samuel Anyanwu. We only have one NWC, which is led by this excellent gentleman. So where is the crisis? There is no crisis. It's just interest wrangling. That is just it.
So you think some people are being paid to fuel the distraction? Since you said there is no crisis, so let me hold on to
crisis. Thank you for accepting that.
I just want to. So let me accept. Yes. Let me just accept that holding you by your word, there is no crisis. So, but you think that some people are being funded or being paid to fuel the distraction in PDP?
Like the MPS. There are sensitive matter as national police, even though you are working if you are working in an organization,
funding the
DG, if you are in an organization, the director of corporate services cannot go and make a press statement without consulting the DG. You are the national publicity secretary. Sensitive matter, you have to consult. If it's so urgent, you have to at least hear the communicate with the national chairman. But I can tell you authoritatively, the NWC has not sat. That young gentleman called Debo has not consulted the national chairman and went to make statements, because some people are giving him paying his bills, so he comes up and say whatever that suits them to keep on being serviced. That is it, nothing more.
Quickly, before we wrap it up, our time is already fast spent. With the lingering distraction, let me borrow your word.
Thank you.
With the lingering distraction in PDP, how ready is PDP? How ready is PDP ahead 2027? Again, secondly, PDP National Secretariat has been invoked by the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, who is a member of your party. On several occasions, this same member of your party has come out to say that he's not willing to give this party, peace. So ahead of 2027, how prepared, with all that is happening and all that is going on, how prepared is PDP?
No, PDP is very prepared. I'm assuring you that by
form of alliance or how?
No, not by form of alliance. PDP is very prepared, and by the end of this year, you will see all this interest wrangling will come to an end, and we'll go all out for the 2027 general election. I can assure you of that. And also talking about the FCT minister, that tells you it's impartial, not minding the fact that it's a PDP member. What a shame! In fact, it is PDP members that revoked our property, and that's why all of them deserve to be punished. The FCT minister is not the one; it's PDP leaders. If except you say inclusive, otherwise for 20 years you do not pay a ground rent. and because he's FCT minister and he's a member of PDP, he should hide it. It's a good thing he exposed it. In fact, I prefer that he exposed it to show that most of those leaders that open their mouth and blab around did not contribute to make sure that we have had national secretaries, we have had national chairmen. What did they do to ensure that we didn't get into this mess? Those leaders are the ones, our governors, former senators, former NWC members are the ones that revoked our property and not the FCT minister. If they pay their ground rent, the FCT minister will not have the grounds to revoke it. He did not only revoke our property, over 4,000 properties. And that tells you that the man is working. Number two, is not being partial. If not, he can say, I'm a PDP member, let me hide it. And he will hide it. But I won't say that. No. I want to assure PDP faithful that our property will get it back.
No doubt he's still a PDP member, but is he still a loyal member?
He's a loyal member.
He is.
Yes. You being fair does not mean you're not loyal.
No, it's not regarding to the revocation of the property. I mean, can your party beat its chest and say, yes, some wicked, the FCT minister is still a loyal member of the PDP?
He is. Are you going to say, what is it, this lady that is from Anambra State,
so you think
Ojuku's wife?
So you think he still protects the interests of your party?
He has no option.
Okay.
He has no option but to protect the interests of the party.
Okay. If
he will not protect the interests of the party, he would have left the party. So him remaining in the party, not just a member of the neck, he has no option but to protect the party. Because yes, interest of the party. And let me clear what one of your callers said. There is no section of our constitution that said the governor is the leader of the party. I want to close on that note.
All right.
Because people are having that wrong impression. In practice, some governors have been giving that concession, but not that they are the leaders of the party. It's not in our constitution.
Okay.
From the beginning to the end, I've read it. There's nothing like that. In fact, the only time the constitution used the word leader was when it was referring to youth leader, woman leader.
Okay. All right, thank you so much, Comrade Warmate, for being with me in this studio. It's been a pleasure having you around. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. Well, viewers, this is where we draw the curtain for today's program. And thank you so much for being with us and sticking around with us. Until we'll come your way some other time next week, I am Messi Emility. Keep watching Kaftan Television. And may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Have yourself a wonderful weekend.
PDP too now.
And PDP too.